I need you to understand something before I tell you this story. I need you to know that I'm not a bad person. I'm not a liar, I'm not a cheat, and I'm definitely not the kind of guy who destroys his own family. But that's exactly what everyone thinks I am now. And the worst part? I can't even argue with them anymore, because the evidence is right there in black and white, time-stamped and documented in my own words. You see, I made a mistake. A stupid, naive, trust the technology kind of mistake that cost me everything. My marriage, my relationship with my kids, my reputation, my entire life as I knew it. And it all started because I thought I'd found the perfect therapist, the perfect confidant, someone, or rather, something, that would never judge me, never gossip about me, never use my darkest thoughts against me. I started talking to an AI chatbot, one of those advanced language models everyone's raving about. I told it everything, every doubt I'd ever had about my marriage, every moment of weakness, every terrible thought that flickered through my mind at 3 in the morning when I couldn't sleep. I confessed things I'd never told another living soul, things I'd barely admitted to myself, and someone read it, every single word. But here's the thing, it wasn't just anyone. It was the one person who would know exactly how to weaponize every secret I'd ever shared. My name is Marcus. I'm 37 years old, and this is the story of how I destroyed my own life by trusting a machine with my soul. Let me take you back to where it all began. 18 months ago, my life looked perfect from the outside. I had a beautiful wife, Claire, who I'd been with since university. We'd been married for 12 years. We had 2 kids, Emma, who was 9, and Jack, who was 7. We lived in a nice 4-bedroom house in the suburbs, had decent jobs, took holidays twice a year, the whole package. But beneath the surface, things were complicated. Claire and I had been struggling for about 3 years. Nothing dramatic, nothing explosive, just a slow, grinding erosion of connection. We'd become roommates who occasionally had awkward, obligatory sex. We parented well together, but barely talked about anything else. I'd catch her staring at her phone with this distant look in her eyes, and I'd wonder what she was thinking. She'd ask me how my day was, and I'd give her the same 3-sentence summary I always gave. I loved her. I really did. But I wasn't sure I was in love with her anymore, and that terrified me. Because what kind of person falls out of love with their wife? What kind of father thinks about walking away from his kids? That's when I discovered the chatbot. It started innocently enough. I'd read an article about AI companions and therapy bots, about how people were using them to work through anxiety and depression. I was curious. I signed up for one of the premium services, one that promised complete privacy and encryption. The marketing was slick. Your thoughts are safe with us. No human will ever read your conversations. This is your space. I believe them. The first few sessions were surface level. I talked about work stress, about feeling disconnected from Claire, about worrying I wasn't being a good enough dad. The AI was surprisingly good. It asked thoughtful questions, reflected my feelings back to me, made me feel heard in a way I hadn't felt in years. And then I started going deeper. I told it about the woman at work, Sarah. She was a colleague in the marketing department, 32, funny, easy to talk to. We'd started having coffee together during breaks. Nothing physical, nothing even flirtatious really, but there was this energy between us, this possibility. I told the AI that I sometimes fantasized about what my life would be like if I'd met Sarah instead of Claire. If I could start over. And it felt good. It felt like therapy, like release, like finally being honest about the mess inside my head. The AI never judged me. It just listened and helped me untangle my thoughts. I used the chatbot almost every day. Late at night, after Claire fell asleep, or during my lunch break at work, or sitting in my car in the driveway before heading inside. It became my ritual, my pressure valve. I'd type out whatever was churning in my mind, and the AI would help me make sense of it. I thought I was dealing with my problems. I thought I was being responsible by processing my feelings instead of acting on them. I was an idiot. 3 months ago, Claire asked me if we could talk. She had this weird look on her face. Not angry, not sad, just serious. We sat down at the kitchen table after the kids had gone to bed, and she pulled out her laptop. She opened it up and turned the screen toward me. I saw my words. Dozens and dozens of my conversations with the AI laid out on the screen like evidence at a trial. Every confession, every doubt, every shameful thought, my blood turned to ice. She asked me one question: "Is this how you really feel?" I couldn't speak. My throat had closed up completely. I just stared at the screen, watching my own words condemn me. And that's when I realized my perfect, private, encrypted AI therapy sessions weren't private at all. Someone had hacked into my account. Someone had read everything, and that someone had sent it all to my wife. Claire didn't yell. She didn't cry. She just sat there, looking at me with this awful mixture of disappointment and disgust, waiting for me to explain. I tried. I tried. I told her that those were just thoughts, not actions. That writing things down didn't mean I was going to do them. That I loved her and the kids and never intended to hurt anyone. That I was just struggling and trying to work through it. She asked me about Sarah. I told her the truth. Nothing had happened. We were just friends. The AI conversations were me exploring a hypothetical, not planning an affair. She didn't believe me. And honestly, I couldn't blame her. She asked me if I wanted a divorce. I told her no. I meant it. Despite everything I'd written in those stupid chat logs, I didn't want to lose my family. I wanted to fix things. She said she needed time to think. That was 3 months ago, and time to think had turned into a Cold War that was slowly destroying both of us. But here's where the story gets really twisted. Because finding out that my wife had read my private AI confessions was just the beginning. The real nightmare started when I tried to figure out how she'd gotten them. The morning after Claire confronted me, I couldn't function. I called in sick to work and spent the entire day trying to piece together what had happened. I logged into my AI chatbot account, checked the security settings, changed my password. Everything looked normal. There was no indication of a breach, no suspicious login attempts from unknown devices. So how had Claire gotten those transcripts? I asked her. She wouldn't tell me. She just said someone had sent them to her anonymously via email. When I pressed her for details, what email address, when exactly, were there any other messages, she shut down. Told me it didn't matter how she'd found out, only that she had. That's when I started to suspect it wasn't a random hacker. It was someone who knew us. Someone close enough to want to hurt me, specifically by exposing me to Claire. I made a list in my head of everyone who might have a motive. My brother, Tom? We'd had a falling out 2 years ago over money I'd loaned him that he never paid back. Could he be that vindictive? Claire's sister, Rachel? She'd never liked me. Always thought Claire could have done better. Maybe she'd somehow gotten access to my accounts? Or what about Sarah from work? Maybe I'd misread our friendship entirely. Maybe she'd been interested in me, gotten rejected somehow without me even realizing it, and decided to blow up my life out of spite. I drove myself mad with theories. Then I got a text message from a number I didn't recognize. It said, "You should be more careful what you tell machines. They're not as private as you think." I stared at that message for a full minute, my hands shaking. I typed back, "Who is this?" No response. I tried calling the number. It went straight to voicemail, one of those automated messages, no name. That text message was the moment I realized this wasn't just about my marriage anymore. Someone was actively tormenting me. Over the next few weeks, strange things started happening. My social media accounts started acting weird. Posts I hadn't written would appear and then disappear. Friend requests from people I didn't know. My location settings would change on their own. Someone had access to more than just my AI chatbot. They were my entire digital life. I became paranoid. I changed every password I had. I set up 2-factor authentication on everything. I even bought a new phone, convinced that my old one was compromised. But the messages kept coming. Sometimes they were cryptic. How does it feel to be watched? Sometimes they were specific. Claire's thinking about taking the kids to her mother's house. You should stop her. And sometimes they were just cruel. Does Sarah know you fantasize about her? Should I tell her? I felt like I was losing my mind. Claire noticed I was acting strange, jumpy, distracted, constantly checking my phone. She asked me what was wrong, but I couldn't tell her. How could I explain that someone was stalking me digitally? Someone who clearly had a vendetta. I thought about going to the police, but what would I even report? Some anonymous text messages and weird social media activity? They'd tell me to change my passwords and move on. So I decided to investigate myself. I started with the AI chatbot company. I sent them multiple emails demanding to know if there had been a data breach, if my conversations had been compromised. They sent back generic corporate responses about their security protocols and assurances that all data was encrypted end-to-end. Useless. Then I hired someone, a guy I found through a friend of friend, someone who specialized in cybersecurity and digital forensics. His name was Dev, and he was exactly the kind of person you'd imagine. Mid-20s, hoodies and energy drinks, spoken acronyms I didn't understand. I paid him £2,000 up front to dig into my digital footprint and figure out how someone had accessed my stuff. What he found made my stomach drop. Dev called me 3 days after I'd hired him. He told me to meet him at a coffee shop. He didn't want to discuss it over the phone or email. I met him there, and he pulled out his laptop, angling the screen so only I could see it. He showed me a trail of digital breadcrumbs, login attempts, IP addresses, metadata from my various accounts. And then he showed me the connection point, the source. It was my home network, my own Wi-Fi. Someone in my house had been accessing my accounts. I felt the room spin. That's impossible, I said. It's just me, my wife, and my kids. My kids are 9 and 7. They're not hacking my accounts. Dev shrugged. I'm just telling you what the data says. The breaches originated from a device connected to your home network. Could be a laptop, tablet, phone. But whoever's doing this, they're doing it from your house. And that's when the terrible possibility dawned on me. What if it was Claire? I went home that night and looked at my wife like I was seeing her for the first time. Was Claire the one who'd hacked my AI chatbot? Had she sent those transcripts to herself to make it look like someone else had exposed me? Was she the one sending me those tormenting text messages? It seemed insane. Claire was a primary school teacher, not some tech-savvy hacker. But then again, she was smart. She could have Googled how to do it. Or maybe she'd hired someone, just like I'd hired Dev. I started watching her, paying attention to when she was on her phone, what she was looking at. I checked the browser history on her laptop when she was at work. I felt disgusting doing it, like I'd become someone I didn't recognize, but I needed to know. I found nothing. No incriminating searches, no suspicious apps, no evidence that she was behind any of it. But I also noticed something else. Claire had become distant in a different way. Not just cold toward me, but distracted. She was taking phone calls in other rooms. She was going out more, claiming she was meeting friends, but being vague about the details. Was she seeing someone? Had she moved on already? And then, one night, I overheard a conversation that changed everything. I came home from work early and heard Claire on the phone upstairs. Her door was slightly ajar, and her voice carried down the hallway. She was speaking quietly, but I caught fragments. I know it's a lot to process. I just needed you to know the truth. No, he doesn't suspect anything yet. My heart hammered in my chest. I crept closer, straining to hear. I never wanted it to come to this, but after everything he wrote, I had to protect myself and the kids. She was talking about me, planning something. I backed away before she could catch me listening and left the house, my mind racing. Claire wasn't just reacting to my confessions. She was orchestrating something. But what? I couldn't take it anymore. I confronted her that weekend. The kids were at her mother's house, a new arrangement that had become more frequent. We were alone. I asked her point blank, "Are you the one who's been sending me those messages? Are you the one who hacked my accounts?" She looked genuinely confused. "What messages?" I showed her the texts on my phone, the weird social media activity, everything. Her face went pale. "Marcus, I have no idea what you're talking about. I didn't send these." "Then who did?" I shouted. I was unraveling, months of stress and paranoia finally exploding. "Someone in this house accessed my accounts. Someone's been tormenting me. If it's not you, then who the hell is it?" She stared at me for a long moment, and then something shifted in her expression. A realization. "Oh my God," she whispered. "Marcus, when did this all start?" "Right after you confronted me about the AI transcripts. 3 months ago." She grabbed my arm. "Did you ever think about how I got those transcripts in the first place?" "You said someone emailed them to you anonymously." "I lied," she said, her voice shaking. "I didn't want to tell you because I was ashamed, because it was my fault." And that's when she told me the truth that shattered everything I thought I knew. Claire had received the transcripts, but not from a stranger. She'd received them from her sister, Rachel. Rachel, who had always hated me. Rachel, who worked in IT and absolutely had the skills to hack into accounts. Rachel, who had stayed with us for a week 6 months ago, right around the time I'd started using the AI chatbot intensively. Claire explained it all, tears streaming down her face. Rachel had installed spyware on our home computer during her visit. She'd been monitoring everything, my emails, my browsing history, my accounts. When she discovered the AI chatbot, she found a way to access those conversations too. Rachel had sent the transcript to Claire with a simple message. You need to see who you're really married to. But she hadn't stopped there. After Claire confronted me and things got tense between us, Rachel had kept going. She'd started sending me those messages, tampering with my accounts, making me feel insane. She wanted to push me over the edge, to make me paranoid enough that I'd either confess to something worse or self-destruct completely. Her goal was to make Claire leave me, and it had almost worked. I felt a surge of rage like nothing I'd ever experienced. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me your sister was doing this? Because I didn't know. Claire sobbed. I only just figured it out. That conversation you overheard. I was on the phone with her. I was confronting her about it because I'd started to suspect, and she admitted everything. She's been doing this for months, Marcus, watching us, manipulating us, trying to destroy our marriage. But here's the part that really broke me. Rachel hadn't just done this out of hatred for me. She'd done it because she wanted Claire. Rachel had been in love with Claire for years. Since they were teenagers, she'd watched Claire marry me, have kids with me, build a life with me, and she'd resented every moment of it. When she'd stayed with us and installed that spyware, she hadn't just been snooping. She'd been looking for ammunition. Something, anything, she could use to drive a wedge between us. The AI transcripts were a goldmine. She'd sent them to Claire hoping it would be the final straw. That Claire would see me as the terrible husband and father I secretly feared I was, leave me, and turn to Rachel for support. And maybe, eventually, for something more. But it hadn't worked out the way Rachel planned, because Claire, despite everything, still loved me. She'd been devastated by what she'd read. She'd been hurt and angry and questioning everything. But she hadn't wanted to leave me. She wanted to fix things. She'd been distant because she was processing, not because she'd given up. And when Rachel realized her plan wasn't working, she'd escalated, started tormenting me directly, trying to push me into doing something that would make Claire's decision easier. Claire told me all of this sitting on our sofa, both of us crying, both of us exhausted. I asked her what she wanted to do. She said she'd already cut off contact with Rachel, told her never to contact us again, threatened legal action if the harassment continued. She'd also contacted the AI chatbot company with Dev's findings and was pursuing a formal complaint about their security. And then she looked at me and asked the question I'd been dreading. Do you still want to be married to me? I told her the truth. Yes. Despite everything I'd written in those confessions, despite the doubts and the fantasies and the resentment, I wanted to be married to her. I wanted our family. I wanted to do the work to fix what we'd broken. She said she wanted that too. It wasn't a fairy tale ending. It wasn't even a happy ending, not really. It was just an ending. The end of one chapter and the uncertain beginning of another. That was 6 weeks ago. Claire and I are in couples therapy now. The real kind, with an actual human being who can't be hacked and won't weaponize our vulnerabilities. We're taking it one day at a time. Some days are good. Some days we can barely look at each other. But we're trying. I deleted all my social media accounts. I changed every password, wiped every device, started completely fresh digitally. I'm hyper-vigilant now in a way I never was before. I understand that privacy is an illusion and that anything you put into the digital world can and will be used against you. Rachel hasn't contacted us since Claire's final conversation with her. I don't know if she'll ever try again. Part of me hopes she gets help. Part of me never wants to think about her again. Sarah from work left the company for a new job. We haven't spoken since. I wonder sometimes if she ever knew about any of this. If Rachel had contacted her too. I'll never know. The kids are okay. They don't know the details of what happened, just that Mommy and Daddy went through a rough patch. Emma asked me recently if we were going to get divorced. I told her no, we were working on being a family. She seemed satisfied with that answer. But here's what I can't stop thinking about. I was trying to be responsible by talking to that AI. I thought I was doing the right thing by processing my feelings instead of just acting on them. I thought I'd found a safe space to be honest about the messy, uncomfortable parts of being human. And instead, I handed someone the blueprint to destroy my life. The lesson I learned, and it's a brutal one, is that there's no such thing as a consequence-free confession. Every word you speak, every thought you externalize, every secret you share leaves a trace. And in the digital age, those traces can be weaponized by people you never even suspected were watching. I destroyed my own life by trusting a machine with my soul. But the machine didn't betray me. The people around me did. And maybe that's the real story here. Not that technology is dangerous, but that we'll use any tool available, AI, social media, hacking, surveillance, to hurt each other, to win, to get what we want. I'm not the villain of this story, but I'm not the hero either. I'm just a man who learned the hard way that in the digital age, your darkest thoughts are never really private. And someone is always watching. More stories are waiting under the telling tree. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and come back for the next one.